further, why don't you just reach over and grab a neighbor by the hand sitting next to you, squeeze that neighbor by the hand, look him dead in the eyeball and shout, neighbor. Neighbor. Tell him I'm squeezing your hand, because you need to know what it feels like to hold the hand of a miracle. Reach over and get somebody else on the other side, squeeze that other neighbor by the hand. Put your preaching voice on and look him dead in the eyeball and shout, neighbor. Tell him I'm squeezing your hand because you need to know what it feels like to hold the hand of a survivor. Come on, clap your hands, open up your mouth all over the come to this conclusion, and we understand that some things we just simply got to learn how to wait on God to complete. Because it was Isaiah that simply says that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. But I've also come to this conclusion, my brothers and sisters, that it seems like the fight power and the anointing to keep on going has simply gotten low on the totem pole of our responsibility as believers. But when I came up in the church, they taught us how to fast and pray until we get our breakthrough. They taught us that these kind goeth out but by consecrating prayer and fasting. That when the enemy was trying to come out, it was the disciples that went back to Jesus after they had tried to cast a demon out of the lunatic's son. They asked the question, why could we not get it out? And Jesus said, first of all, you got to have a consecrated life before me in order for demons to tremble at my name. You got to use my name. It says that at that name, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. And so when we deal with the day and the season and the time that we're in, we begin to look at the condition, not just of society and our communities, but we have to look at the condition of the church. For the church does not possess the same power that it possessed when we came up in the 70s. 49 years old just this past March the 12th, and I understood as a young person how to lay between the porch and the altar all night long. It wasn't no pillows and wasn't no blankets. We didn't fall asleep and shut in on Friday nights. They understood how to pray through. They understood how to fast through. But when you look at the issues of today's church, we don't have the same fire and the same power because we don't have the same sacrifice that the older saints had back in the old church. They understood how to sacrifice time. They cut the TV off. I'm going to just come a little closer to Iowa. Back in the day, they told us when to walk in church and when to keep your seat in church. In yesterday's church, they told us we couldn't play in the pulpit, couldn't play around the altar, couldn't play around the communion table. Holler back at me. They taught us that it was important for the young men to come to church in suits and ties, not in Timberlands and blue jeans hanging down where people could see your underwear. They taught the young ladies, I'm sorry, how to put on girdles and tighten it up. Don't show too much cleavage, and you definitely don't come to church without some stockings on. And when we deal with today's church, talk back to me. When you deal with today's church, we're not looking at the clothes so much because God's not concerned about our clothes. He is concerned about our souls. But when you have a walk with God and you talk with God, you're concerned about how you look in the house of God. Tell somebody, give it all you got.